So, Catherine, the jury just went from incredibly riveting testimony and cross-examination and redirect of Stormy Daniels, the key figure in the case, not legally, but sort of dramatically, theatrically, to an assistant bookkeeper, a young woman who had worked in a supermarket before she was hired by the Trump Organization, and then found herself sending checks, blank checks, by FedEx to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
And in many ways, she's actually a more important witness than Ms. Daniels was.
I thought you would say that,
Because this is a
Catherine.
falsifying business records case. And if the prosecution has this jury in the jury room debating about whether or not Donald Trump had sex with that woman, that's a problem. They need to be focused in on, did he know what Michael Cohen was doing? Was Michael Cohen rogue? Did he know what Cohen and Weisselberg were up to? That's what they should be focused in, not the hotel room, what happened at the Trump Organization and what happened at Trump Tower that David Pecker talked about.
So maybe that's what the defense wants, right?
Yes.
Maybe the defense would love
distraction.
it, Jeremy, if that's what the jury went back in and talked about. They spent the first day talking about whether or not there actually ever was a real sexual encounter.
Yeah, absolutely. That certainly helps them. But, the theory here in large part is Donald Trump, he's the principal, but also an accomplice. In other words, it's not, not just knowing, it's actually being involved hands-on and furthering this conspiracy and this crime. But it absolutely, to your point, it absolutely helps the defense if this gets a distraction of it's just a sex crime, and it's not a sex crime. It's really irrelevant. And we were discussing earlier about how we had the doorman making up a story about a child, which ultimately was not true. So it doesn't make a difference, true or not. You still made the payment because you thought it was going to hurt you.
Let's go back to what the heart of this case is, if we can, Catherine, because there are 34 felony charges here. And they really go, as the question is raised, they were put in as legal expenses. Is that a falsification of business records? How does this witness, who's going to come back on the stand now in 10 minutes or so, get us there for the prosecution?
Well, she helps establish the authentication, legal word, that each of these 11 checks, which Donald Trump signed, are authentic. So it gets them into evidence. So, and there's also ledger entries and invoices. So those are the 34 accounts: checks, ledger invoices, ledger entries, and invoices. And did Donald Trump, and the jury is going to be instructed, did he make or cause to be made a false entry in the Trump Organization business records? And did he do it with the intent to defraud and the intent to commit or conceal another crime?
Sounds like that could go pretty quickly.
That's the crime.
But
34
Jeremy,
times.
what does the defense do? Do they go after her? Do they try to shake her recollection of the checks? They can't question the signature. We all know that signature.
Absolutely. I mean, they're going to try to make sure that the chain of custody actually occurred and she was the person who sent it and she thinks she sent it FedEx.
So that could take 5 minutes.
Yeah. This is not a long witness, and this is not going to go the same route as Stormy Daniels. She's just here for process to get her in and get her out. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, so where do you go next? You've got her. Do you have to go now to, Madeleine Westerhouse, in the White House handling the checks? Is there a chain here that you have to create?
There absolutely is a chain, and I would not be ending that chain with Michael Cohen. So if there's someone's going to be, Michael Cohen's going to come at some point, obviously, but he's not going to be the end. But we have to get to Michael Cohen sooner rather than later, because much of this has kind of just been spinning our wheels a little bit. And if I'm the jury, I'm like, okay, what's the big show here? What are we doing here? I understand what we're going to have to try to find out and figure out. And we understand that there's a burden they're going to have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. But what is it, and when are we going to get there?
Do you need to do that before the weekend, or would that be next week?
I mean, I think this case should be done stat. I mean, this is getting long. This is getting long-winded. I mean, this is too much.
But has the prosecution made its case yet? How do they get to that point?
Not yet. They have not.
Do they get to it with Michael Cohen?
Michael Cohen is a critical piece. If there is no Michael Cohen, there is no case, period. There's no asterisk there. If there's no Michael Cohen, there's no case.
So what's the hole right now that he fills, and who else might help fill it?
Donald Trump knew. Donald Trump, I wasn't a rogue actor. He told me to pay her off. He knew about that. Alan Weisselberg, were going to characterize these falsely, that's the falsified business records, as legal expenses. And this was done, here's the crime, in order to influence the election, because we needed to keep this information away from the electorate.
And Catherine keeps on getting right back to it. I mean, that's how simple this is in theory.
Defense attorney is like, let's talk about the hotel room. Let's talk about
Do
something
either
else.
of you think there's any scenario, depending on maybe what happens with Michael Cohen, is there any scenario that Donald Trump would take the witness stand?
I can't see it. That would be lunacy.
I second that. I think if he takes the stand, if there is not a case made, he's just made the case for the prosecution. He would be a fool, an absolute fool, to get on that stand, and his attorneys would be as well.